Good evening. Could you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and please remain standing for the invocation by the Reverend Andy Egelhart.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Our gracious Heavenly Father, we come before you in thanksgiving. And as the weather turns nicer, we spend more time outside. We ask that you guide and protect us as we do more risky and fun things during this spring and summer. Today, we ask you also bless this council and this township. The decisions made here tonight will be for the welfare of all. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Good evening. This regular meeting of the Township Council is being held in accordance with the schedule of the meetings of the Township Council, established and adopted by the Township Council, which schedule designated time and date and place of this meeting. Adequate public notice of this meeting has been provided pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act. We're using an electronic amplifying and recording device in order to obtain a clear and audible record. We request all those that are wishing to speak be recognized and state your name and address directly to the microphone. Recording device be so utilized by the Township Clerk's Office for the preparation of minutes shall be the official record of the Township Council meetings. Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call?
Mr. Hutchison?
He is running late.
Ms. Grace? Here. Mrs. Albright Troxel? Here. Mrs. Stubbs?
She will not be in attendance this evening.
Mrs. Winters?
She is running late.
Mr. Mignon?
Here.
Mr. Mercado?
Present.
Mr. Carlemere?
Here.
Mr. Curtis?
Here.
Chief Harkins?
Here.
Mr. McGill?
Here. Tonight, we have a special presentation of the Gloucester Township Scholarship Committee. I'm going to hand this over to Dr. Dick Hunt.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mercado. Before I get started, I just want to make sure that everybody who's here because of the scholarships has one of the papers that has all the numbers on it. If anybody does not have that, could you put your hand up so we can make sure you get one? Okay, good. My name is Dick Hollinshead. I'm the Assistant Treasurer for the Gloucester Township Day Scholarship Committee. The committee is a very important and very long-standing committee in Gloucester Township. We basically raise money all year long by running a bunch of different events throughout the year. Our biggest one is coming up in about 6 weeks on Saturday, June 3rd. It's Gloucester Township Day, right outside here at the park. It's one of our biggest fundraisers. We also recently did a murder mystery over at Valley Brook, and we've just 2 weeks ago did a 5K run that actually a few of our council members participated in. Neither one of them won, but they had a good time. The reason I mention this is that every one of the events that we do raises money. All of that money, every penny, goes right back into Gloucester Township in the form of scholarships for Gloucester Township students. This year, we're in a position to kind of get back to where we had been prior to the pandemic. As you might imagine, the pandemic wiped out a lot of fundraising events because you really couldn't bring people together. But this past year has been much better. And this year, as I think many of you know, we'll be giving out 40 $1,000 scholarships to students who are graduating and who reside in Gloucester Township. The thing about our scholarship program is that it's not geared just to the very, very top academic student. And that's because we made a conscious effort to make our scholarship as inclusive as possible. Since we raise money all across the township, we want to try to make sure that everybody has a reasonable chance of winning one of these scholarships. So the criteria that we've established are very simple. You have to be a resident of Gloucester Township. You have to be accepted at an accredited college or university. and you need a certain minimum GPA and a minimum SAT or ACT score. Because of the criteria are relatively limited, we have a tremendous number of students who qualify, many more students than we have money to give. This year, a total of 378 students met all the criteria. And on the piece of paper that you have in front of you, there is a list of these 378 students. Now, I have to tell you that it's possible, in fact, it's probable that there's an occasional typo on this sheet. And that would be because I did the typing. I'm only going to take partial credit for that because penmanship is not necessarily a strength for most of our students these days. That's probably because we all use the computer so much so we don't have to really worry about how we write and print. But I need to tell you that if a mistake was made, number one, I'll apologize for it. But secondly, we had to assign a number and we basically put everybody in alphabetical order. If there's a typo that repositions a person to a different number, we're not going to deal with that. The number that is on this piece of paper next to your name is the number that is official and will be used tonight, even if we, as I say, made a mistake with the typo. The other thing I wanted to mention is that really that's why we're here tonight, to do this drawing. But I wanted to at least acknowledge several of the members of the scholarship committee who are here tonight. If they would please just stand when I call your name. Harry Morgan is our chairperson. Debbie Carr, Bill Fagan, and Mackenzie Carr are members of the committee. We have about 15 people on the committee. Thank you. But not all of them could make it tonight. Oh, and Louise Tashak is in the back. I'm sorry, Louise. She's the one giving out the paper. Okay. So we have a large number of people, but not everybody could be here tonight. And as you see, there are not 378 students. Oh yeah, I forgot about our president. Orlando Mercado is also on our committee, and he's the council president. So now that I've made my mistakes, hopefully we'll go through the rest of it without any problem. I also wanted to mention that this is the 38th year that we've been giving out scholarships. Over that time span, we've given out more than 1,500 scholarships for a total of $1,335,200 over these 38 years. So it's an ongoing program, and hopefully some of you will walk away with $1,000 tonight. Let's see, the final thing I wanted to mention is that after we draw the 40 names, and we're doing that with ping pong balls, there are 378 ping pong balls, each with a number. We're going to pull them out one at a time. When we get to 40, we're then going to draw 10 more. Those will be alternates. We do this because even though people said on their application that they are going to college, several people every year at the last minute decide not to go to college for a variety of reasons. So whoever is the first alternate will get the scholarship that would have gone to somebody whose name was drawn in the first 40. If you are an alternate, but you don't get lucky and have somebody else not go to college, we'll give you $100 for expenses. So you're going to get something if you're among the first 50 ping pong balls that are drawn. I think that's everything that I need to say, and I think we need to get started. And all we need is somebody to spin the wheel. Orlando, do you want to start?
We'll have Helen and Carolyn and Mike.
We're going to have several different members of council take turns with this.
And we're encouraged if you win, it's like the Price is Right reaction, right?
Yeah, let's be quiet in here right now, so.
There's a lot.
You can even cheer if it's not your number, but it's somebody you know. That's okay. First one is number 155. That's Andrew, no, it isn't. It's Tyler Hale from Timber Creek. They're being kind, yes.
26.
Number 26 is Alicia Bannon from Timber Creek. Number 203. 203 is Ednar Killick from Highland. Number 4, Cadence Adams from Highland. Number 254 is Christopher Mosley from Timber Creek. $200. That's Shane Kennedy from Highland. Yeah, definitely mix them up a little bit. Number 32, that's India Bass from Highland. Number 229 is Taylor Mayer from Timber Creek. Number 261 is Aisha Nazir from Triton. Number 116, and that is Ava Feinberg from Timber Creek. We're going to try to get somebody up down here who can do a little better job. I don't mean the dropping them. I mean to get some winners that are in the house. That's just did that. Number 56, Anthony Brogan from Camden County Technical School. Number 73, Lauren Cavallaro from Paul VI. Number 36, Ian Beck from Timber Creek. You do. Number 243, Melanie McLeod from Timber Creek. Number 16, that's Logan Anderson from Highland. Number 194, and that is Amreen Gianni from Highland. I should also apologize for my pronunciation. The order doesn't really matter.
Okay.
until we get to the alternates.
You mix it up with that.
Okay, 222. And 222 is Bettina Lynn from Timber Creek. Next one is 262, and that's Fatou Doye from Timber Creek. And 249, that's Victoria Maffa from Highland. Number 303, Aiden Rawl from Highland. Number 251, that's Madison Monte from Triton. Next one is number 296, Robert Reed from Highland. Number 336, that's Bryce Stevens Gibson from Highland. The next one is number 110, Emily Dwyer from Timber Creek. All right, there you go. Congratulations. You done good.
I have more addresses.
Okay. The next one is number 192, and that is Ria Joshi from Highland. We probably need to get a new one of these. Next one is number 128, and that is Michael Godizio from Timber Creek. Next, we have number 122. That's Tyler Galen from Timber Creek. Is that you? No.
My neighbor.
Number 105, Christopher Doan from Timber Creek. Number 168, that's William Heller from Timber Creek. And number 334, that's Lauren St. Ledger from Timber Creek. And we're bringing in the relief pitcher. Where are we? That was 30. All right, so we have 10 more $1,000 scholarships and then 10 alternates. So. Okay, number 276, that's Ria Patel from Highland. Number 175, that's Brianna Holmes from Timber Creek. Number 223, that's Ilana Lindquist from Timber Creek. Number 78, Jaziel Chiamella from Highland. Number 51, that's Gabriella Bongiorno from Timber Creek. Number 37, Mark Bell from Timber Creek. Number 76, Anna Chu from Triton. Number 120, Anastasia Formello from Timber Creek. Two more? Okay. Number 67, Robert Carfagno from Highland. And this is the last of the $1,000 scholarships. This is number 280, and that is Kylie Peach from Timber Creek. Okay. Would someone else like to come down to draw the alternates?
Touch?
Yeah, he set it up so well.
That would be Michael.
Okay, so these are the alternates. So alternate number 1 would be the first person to get the $1,000 scholarship if somebody doesn't go to college. The first alternate is number 104. Number 104 is Rosalind Dismus from Highland. The next one is number 347. That's Mackenzie Tran from Timber Creek. Number 235. 235 is Jocelyn Murray from Camden County Technical School. Number 20, Chanel Austin from Timber Creek. Number 364, Jacob Williams from Timber Creek. Number 177 is Joseph Howell from Timber Creek. Number 94, Lamaya Davis from Highland. Number 12, Hannah Almond from Timber Creek. Number 265, that's Tam Nugent from Triton. And I'm afraid this is the last one. Number 247, and that is Imani Millwood from Highland. Thank you. So again, thank you very much for coming out. I know that a lot of you have a lot going on right now. I wish that we were in a position to give a scholarship to everybody, but unfortunately we can't. But if you can attend some of our events, it'll give us more money and then we can give out more scholarships. And the next big thing we have is Gloucester Township Day. If you've never done that before, it's really a wonderful opportunity for the township to come together. This is a huge township geographically, and we're spread all over the place. Gloucester Township Day is one of those things that brings people together. So we very much appreciate you being here, and hopefully, at least for a couple of you, it brought you some luck. So please drive carefully. Thank you.
We'll take a 5-minute recess.
Tabby, what's most yesterday? How you been, man? You been brother good?
Yeah, they know.
How are you guys?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's awesome. I always said I try and say two. We're going to cut that, and that's it. Good luck. I got a good team.
How you doing?
You know. Yeah, we had, this is that year, those years where we had a bunch of teams. So I got 9 in the academy now. Just hired 2 started today. 2 started today. I got 7 in there, plus we hired 3 of them already. So 2 metro. So yeah. It's all good. It's always good. I got used to that. You know, once you start hitting the top, none of these guys know. Yeah, I work. You know, yeah, no. I hear you. I know that's what happens. That's what happens. It's all good though. We were there once. Yeah, good to see you, brother. Right, if you ever need anything, give me a shout. Okay. Good luck. Where are you going to school, eh? Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah, my daughter started TC. She's got a year down already. I can't believe it already. Good stuff. Yeah. Good to see you, bro. I'll see you. Yeah. You need anything? We'll do it fast.
Yeah. That's all the baseball team.
Oh, yeah. There was no. Then got cold. All right, let's start again. Madam Clerk, can I have the roll call again, please?
Mr. Hutchison,
Present.
Ms. Grace.
Here.
Mrs. Albright Troxel,
Here.
Mrs. Winters,
Here.
Mr. Mignon,
Here.
Mr. Mercado,
Present.
Mr. Carlemere, Mr. Cardis,
Here.
Chief Harkins,
Here.
Mr. McGill.
Here. We have a resolution on the agenda to go in closed session. We have 6 items to discuss workers' comp issues that may take up to about 45 minutes. I entertain a motion for resolution 2304-100.
Make that motion.
Is there a second? Thank you. On the question, roll call please.
Mr. Hutchison.
Yes.
Ms. Grace.
Yes.
Mrs. Albright Troxel,
Yes.
Mrs. Winters. Mr. Mignon,
Yes.
Mr. Mercado.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Yes. So they have to speak about personnel matters. So when they come back, so when they come back, what you're going to want to ask anybody for the public portion, first public portion. And this is what you're going to speak on the first public portion. That's an agenda.
I don't need this, I don't think I need this paper.
Oh, that's
It's
terrible.
me,
Oh, yeah, that's.
so I'm not,
Oh, yeah.
so I'm not speaking or
I
anything,
understand,
just.
got you. So you know, they'll vote on it and say, we'll talk about the consent agenda. Vote on it.
I was told I didn't have to call,
No, you.
but I don't. I don't know.
So where you?
I'm Alicia, I am practicing. Hi, very nice to meet you. Yeah, so I bought this.
Okay. Oh, good luck. I just saw it on.
Yes, I've been holding it off.
Okay. good.
42.
Yeah, good. And you're gonna change the.
Oh, yeah, everything.
Awesome.
So it's not gonna be Rex, it's going to be
Yeah, sure, awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Glad to see you going.
Thank you. I
But I understand.
I just, I've never not,
No. If it's in there, it's.
you seem really, I haven't been able to speak to anybody.
Yeah. Gotcha. Then you do it. So Nancy, when you see the.
I'm trying to like.
No, Nancy, that she's sitting behind your computer. normally, that's
Oh,
the
okay.
decimal clerk.
I already did, everything's
That's
done.
her.
Oh, yeah, everything.
Nancy
So,
Howard.
so she's been talking to my lawyer and she's saying. So, all right, cool. Thank you very much. Very, very nice meeting you. Thank you. Look
Is there
forward to
anything we
working
can
with
do?
you. No, I'll definitely be in touch because I have really good
Let me, you
relations.
should have worked through. You still got.
Okay.
I mean, he's our community relations officer.
Yeah, because that's why I was, as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, let me, Alicia. Alicia.
So you think of the Kill property? Oh, yeah, we were just talking about that.
Hi, how you doing? I'm Alicia.
Joe Allen.
Very nice to meet you. Hi. Nice to meet you, Alicia.
So you're not with, so.
No, I'm not with Cinderbar.
Told me it was
I
Cinderbar,
know,
and I
please,
said,
there's gonna be so many rumors. Like,
So this is Jim Walden, he's one of our
Hi, how
community
are
relations
you?
officers,
Very
so
nice
it's
to
good,
meet you.
good luck for everything.
Thank
So
you.
put a name to the face,
Yes.
he works
you.
right from the agent community relations stuff.
Perfect, I love
Let me
it.
give you my
Oh, awesome.
card.
Thank you.
Good luck with it.
Thank you very much.
That's my card,
Thank you.
and
Perfect.
I'll get the business emergency contact form, that way if there's any issues in the interim,
Yes.
you know who to contact right away.
Yes.
So we do that for all of it, so we'll keep a spreadsheet and list of all the businesses.
Okay.
That way we can-
Awesome, I thank you, and yeah, because I'll be in touch with you also with just my emergency, my alarm system and everything, because I have like. So I'm gonna have a whole different system put in. But, so that you'll be, for that, and, I understand. I have great relations with, all the police departments, but I'm with the Iron Racks.
Okay.
So I already have agreed, so I hope that I can.
We like to be friends with everybody. in town.
All right, so, awesome, sounds
I'm
great.
looking forward. My wife never wanted to go to Tilted Field, so.
I make the sounds once, and
That's
I
why
can't
you
look up.
buy it.
I literally, I didn't go there to buy it. Make phone call, that's literally, yeah, just not.
I mean, that's not, I don't
Oh,
know.
it's not my thing.
My wife was just like, that lazy, classy, not going there.
No, it's just not my thing.
Yeah, me either.
Not my thing, but, yeah, no.
We
like I
we
said,
do,
I
I
have-
go to rec sometimes.
Okay,
Yeah.
Good.
My cousin lives nearby, so sometimes we go there.
yeah,
My parents live in Berlin, so sometimes we travel, kids go there.
yeah, oh, good.
Late night, meal.
Good. This is gonna be a totally different concept than Rax. I wanna keep it, totally different and whatnot, but like I said, my husband used to be law enforcement, so nothing covers that, so. I'm one of the people. I'm not that person.
Well, let me,
So-
Terry, tell you what, I gave you my card, will you email me?
My number or text, what do you do?
My pen at my desk, I'm working with this week.
Sure, no problem.
Let me just, what's your number?
609 410 7279. That's myself. And it's ALI. And, however you want it.
AL.
ISHA. Miller.
What's your name?
So I'm not gonna give you the email yet because I'll be giving you a new email for the new email. So I keep people up on my email. Because it's not even Rax. Okay, but there's my, if anything, but,
Okay.
because I don't have that email yet, that's the other reason I can do it.
Okay.
Because you're gonna set up the.
How long do you think it'll take until you're ready?
I only want to shut down. I have everything in place. Like literally, we go to Sullivan tomorrow morning. Hopefully this past week, we go to Sullivan tomorrow morning. I have workers come in by the end of this week and Monday all work. And when I say all work, like everything's gonna get taken off the wall. That's all wallpaper, getting all new furniture, new granite tops, new bar tops, whatever.
I was in there only once for the medical call. And I was like, "What's wrong with this?"
I have a date to the company coming in by the end of the week. They're literally cleaning. So yeah, I'm hoping by that's what I'm hoping. Turn around, because everything's already ordered, everything's already, so I'm hoping already have our hires in place, training can start back so that they can just. Along the ice over a year. But very excited. It's called the local public house. That's really fun. With American City to people say center because I think it's going to be a lot of shareable foods and just a little bit, not just for the other people. Any kind of guy. With your old food, new food. But myself, I'll definitely email you my new email address when we get set.
Yeah, this is a community relations center, so it's
Okay.
like if you had a question,
Okay,
you would get somebody.
okay,
But if you ever had a police emergency, 228-3500, not emergency stuff.
okay.
Once you give me your email address, I'll
Then you can give
I'll
me
give
all
you a
that.
list of
All
all the
right.
information.
We literally had a manager meeting today, and they're supposed to, by the end of tonight, I'm supposed to have all that information. I'm on break right now for a while.
We'll get you everything.
All right, perfect. Well, I
Jim.
thank you again.
Nice to meet you.
Very nice meeting you. Wow. Yeah, they're on closed session for, community affairs, they have that. Charity. Parents up there. It's only here. The parents can't. Yeah. Where I did. You got it? Yeah. Oh, shoot, son of a
Oh, Jackson. There's American flag. I don't know. You make a left, you make a, no, it's not. You make a left, the buses are on the right. It's bad. In that street, in the street. So it's back there, and I take her. Yes, it's industrial. Takes you left, goes right. Takes you back to the industrial. It's not. Yes, he did baseball. Baseball. So that's, no. So she's down there. She's an instructor here. I think she works with her. Yes, it's for her. She likes it. Tell her. She's happy.
Yeah,
I don't know how I feel about it. I just, how do you not know? How do you not know? Said, I knew that, but I asked him, and he made up something. I gotta follow through, because now you are responsible. What's the township? You know? Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna take them all. We're gonna train them back. That'll be it for me this way, just so you know. She's like, Corinne, consultant, my consultant. Like talking. Have glasses. He felt. It's like couldn't come sleep today. It's really like this. Took him out. Yeah. No. This is with pediatric. Advocate. I got him through Harley. So Harley's dad is diagnosed. And she had to say, she's like, I got this. We had to wait. Right? Just because mom's so I made a measure that. So we had to put these set up for today. It was perfect. Sometimes he's just funny. He's numbers. And he's just like, so okay, so it's not he's like, that's it. He's like, this is not crazy. He's like, this is he's like, you know, yeah, he's got us. Oh my God. Right. We met already? Oh, well, kind of. Alicia. And you in the church. Stay tuned. In the church. I'm the daughter. Alicia, very nice to meet you. I'm on the agenda. Yes. Yes, I did that too. I'm putting another restaurant Nothing Irish or anything like that, no kilts, no skirts, no any of that. It's not gonna be a wax. It's gonna be a real public house. So it's gonna be just a casual dining, American. That's it. That's all. That's it. Yeah. More restaurants. Yeah. Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really? Okay, I remember that name.
Just go ahead and sit down. Try that. I didn't like it. Hey. He came.
I remember him because I didn't like it. He was the one that said, brown hair. And I think I went to the school. Yeah, I didn't like him. I didn't like him.
One of the greatest idea.
Yeah, no, he did. He got his own dad before he was like that.
What's that?
Like he was crazy. Yeah, I didn't like him.
Oh, yeah, see out there. Those are small, so we can't cost
So she's not there anymore. That's why we have a show. Jay was just on the front of that last week. Yeah. Watch her. Now it's waiting for the time. Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, I forget. Okay.
Oh. It's like the.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. What's that?
it's I oh yeah, Dr. Bob.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Yep. Everything went down right. I mean, that's why I heard that out of you. I heard that. Yeah. 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 Yep.
Yeah, he's the. That's how the. They passed away.
John passed.
Yeah. So I went
Jack?
Yeah. Just borrowing it, yeah. Because I was meant for Kenny, I didn't come to my home, I came one. That's it. Because I was little, I was young. I remember, 19. I wasn't allowed to hang out with her anymore. I know it. I wasn't allowed to hang out with her anymore. And then, yeah. No, I have something. I heard you say that. I was like, oh. Mine's here, so not on. Doesn't need fixing. It's fridge on side by side. Yes. Not going.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I was coming in just.
So where are you at? Where are you at? I'll have to rewind that because I know. That's what I'm saying. I knew just said, that I saw. Where? I am. But I can't, you know.
I was at this job for pretty much years.
What's the lifetime?
I'm sorry, good.
Your deepest sympathies, huh?
Oh, no, and still do nothing. Oh, isn't every, I thought the council has its somewhere. You know what I mean? Listen, I have a place in Woodford.
You live in what?
No, I have one of my restaurants is in Woodford. Nothing compares to there.
So you're taking over for the kill. It's our fight.
Oh, okay, okay.
Fight is a restaurant.
I'm probably gonna be switching my schedule around. That's all. Oh, yeah, it's good.
Friends of Lou,
I was gonna say, Lou was literally gonna come out right now, but I've known Lou, I don't even know, I gotta be honest, how many years I've known, a long time. Really? He just did my, surprise birthday party. He's just good people, just good people, yeah.
So are you changing the restaurant?
Oh, yes, yes. There's nothing gonna look the same.
It's okay.
It's a great location.
It's a, yeah.
Mhm.
It's just, you never, they never had anything there. The food was always like,
Yeah, no, it's definitely, I'm definitely concentrating more on food, definitely. It's, I don't know if you've ever been to Rax, but, okay, so, so food's like, my food at Rax is good, it's just, just down the river. Same thing with the new place, it's just, I'm kind of just gonna step it up. Step it up a little bit, nothing intimidating or anything like that, just step it up. I like a lot of old school dishes, but like with new twists. Yeah, that's it, a lot of shareables, a couple really good entrees, I like to eat. Yes, 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 good places, eat crabs. Macaronis, like what? Yeah, I mean, I have drunken pasta. I actually, it's on my menu, but it's it's not an Italian. I gotta leave that to the Italian. I got Luna Rosa around the corner. It's a Parisian that I have. That's one little, yeah. They're really good. Huh? Yes, I know. You know, it's, if it was another Brax and I was opening another Brax, I'd probably be like, yeah, opening a new concept, no matter what, it's still around branding. Working with a new chef. Chefs are very. Yeah, they're very, they're a good time.
Yes.
Who?
A lot of
All I
ego.
know from, I'll tell you this, with the township, so I have it because I can't, not that I'm not around, but I have a lawyer to call. Because it's a very strict policy, like the way it is, the way it's done, it's very strict.
They know the routine.
Right, so I have a lawyer to do everything, and I will say this, my lawyer, all she keeps telling me is that the town is very excited for me to come in. I guess they looked into me, which they probably have. They're very excited. They're and looking forward to working. So nothing but positive from what I've heard. So I wrote that the chief. I introduced myself to the chief. He introduced me right away to the community affairs officer, which was awesome. Yeah, he seems really nice, down to earth. That's the other reason why. So I'm just, the biggest thing is I just need to have a good relationship with officers. That's really important to me. Yeah. I just had a big Gloucester function for commercial soldiers at Williamstown Max maybe a month ago. We had 200 some people there for a fundraiser. And some of the officers were like, they were like, we must do. Oh yeah, we know what's going on. Can't wait for you to come. So, I just, that makes me happy.
So you from the Rex?
And ACA, yes.
My nephew's name is Green Lake Special.
I haven't had them. I don't think I have.
They do.
Was it another
Russ
name?
Johnson.
Was it another name?
He's not. Russ. He's a bunch of high school.
I'll see if we can get it.
Sweet, rush, sugar, sweet, sugar.
Something.
Rush, sugar.
Something.
They were a teenage band.
Yeah. So Russ Johnson. Yeah. And they formed Green Lake.
Yes, I have a new band.
Yes, ma'am.
We had 6 matters that that are still unresolved. We're going back to settle workers' complaints. Madam Clerk, may I have the roll call again, please?
Mr. Hutchinson?
Present.
Ms. Grace? Here. Mrs. Albright Troxel? Here. Mrs. Winters? Here. Mr. Mignon?
Here.
Mr. Mercado?
Present.
Mr. Carlemere?
Here.
Mr. Curtis?
Here.
Steve Harkins? Mr. McGill?
Here. Now, the first public portion, this is for agenda items only. Anyone that wishes to speak, please raise your hand. You're entitled to 3 minutes. There's 15 minutes for the first public portion. Again, this is for agenda items only. Ms. Smith. Yes. You can turn it around.
Good evening, council. My name is Shaughnessy Smithman. I reside in the SDK Millbridge Gardens apartment complex on Millbrook Court, apartment 341. This portion right now is for the consent agenda,
This is for the agenda that we have.
not for the ordinance for the first reading.
No, there's not a hearing for the witness. You can speak, you could ask a question if you wanted to on that, but this is for agenda items, anything that's on the agenda.
For R2304105,
Okay,
it was to authorize the tax collector to turn over funds from a premium account to a general fund. It goes back several years. It goes back to, it looks like 2011 to 2014. It particularly had to do with 4 different, it seemed like properties. But are those people here today?
I don't know, I wouldn't know if they're here. If they're here in this, our meetings,
Well, it's on the agenda, so I don't know if, I don't know who those properties belong to or what is going on with them.
when a lien holder bids at a tax sale and the premium is bidded, the rule is that the lien must be redeemed within 5 years of the date of the sale to get refunded the premium. If the lien's foreclosed, that premium is forfeited to the township. If the lien is not redeemed within 5 years of the tax sale, the premium is forfeited to the township.
Do they make exceptions for different situations such as undiagnosed conditions? For myself, not having anything to do with these properties, but if it was something that had to do with me, during those periods of time, I was in a crisis up until 2014, and then I was held involuntarily from 2014 into 2015, and I've now been in the care of a company called South Jersey Behavioral Health Resources, and I cannot seem to properly identify the address to my apartment, the deposit to the Social Security Disability Insurance. Like, there's so many complications that from the years, if that had to do with me, there's no way that I could have responsibly responded in those 5 years. Do you make any exceptions? Because if that person, whoever those properties belong to, if they're not here today, they could have been going through the same complications that I have.
Mr. Carlemere, that this
I
legal
think-
matter.
Yeah, but I think the resolution kind of explains the statutory procedure regarding how the premium is handled. It's not a redemption, or if there is a redemption. I think the ordinance explains exactly what it's saying.
Thank you, Ms. Smithman. Your time's up.
And I wanted to come back up on a different item.
If we had more time, anyone else would like to speak? Ms. Henry.
Hi, Dina Hendry, Summerdale.
Good evening.
Good evening. We're looking to purchase a bucket truck.
Part of our capital budget.
For what?
So that is Mr. Curtis.
Yeah, it's a truck that is able to reach up high. The truck that we have right now is much, much older and is not working properly and cannot be repaired. And that was part of the request made by Public Works for various vehicles and equipment.
In our capital budget.
So what is a bucket? So reach or high, but like to do what? Like,
Change bulbs, do fixtures outside, work on buildings outside.
so just out, like just buildings, like nothing.
Anything that would take a bucket and a lift to get up to a higher level to work on something.
And how many bucket trucks do we currently have?
I believe just the one.
Oh, so we're just looking to replace that one with a
Correct.
newer one,
Correct.
and that's for the whole entire township?
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
Is there anyone else? Ms. Smithman?
Hi, good evening, council. Shauna C. Smithman, SDK Millbridge Gardens Apartment Complex. Hi. Am I allowed to speak on the 02306? Does that have its own separate section? I'm still trying to familiarize myself with the difference of.
There's a hearing at the next meeting, but if you have questions about it, that's fine.
It's redefining a restaurant or fast food.
Yes. So in the resolution, what it does is, the ordinance, it amends that what a restaurant is in our ordinance and what a restaurant fast food is. So this has where a restaurant fast food is a public eating facility where any of the following conditions exist: a carry-out window, a drive-through facility, or there's no indoor seating consumption. A restaurant is where food and drink are prepared, served, is consumed within the building, and the patrons are seated at tables, booths, or counters.
So this does not apply to just simple residences, because I rent an apartment within Gloucester Township. And there have, sometimes on occasion, there will be a neighbor that will be so hungry that they will ask for food. I typically try to bring them to a store to make a fresh purchase for themselves. But I have been asked several times from different neighbors, like they just want, like they said that they're going to pass out. I did help someone call 211. Her name was Ashley. She lived also on Millbrook Court. I gave her the number to 211. She called. I called back 211 to ensure that she got the information she needed to help her with food. Does that in any way take away my classification as a simple resident and citizen in Gloucester Township? I just want to make sure there's no mistake. I'm receiving phone calls to my home telephone number that are indicating in some way that I am something other than a resident, like just a regular residential landline phone. They see I'm on some type of different calling list as though there's a company and there's not. Does this ordinance, I mean, does it?
No, that's not addressed.
I'm just making, look, I'm a lifetime resident here other than the 3 weeks that I was in Hawaii when I was born, and I'm still learning. So it might seem obvious, but no, it's not always that way, and I accept that. So this is not written at all, this ordinance, to a simple resident, someone that just
No.
lives here and pays rent?
No.
Do I need to register as a resident anywhere to ensure that I'm not mistaken for anything other than a simple citizen of Gloucester Township?
I couldn't provide an answer for you on that.
You can't provide an
If you have
answer?
to register as a simple resident, I
Like-
can't provide an answer for that. You're not a commercial establishment. You're not a restaurant or a fast food restaurant. This is for a commercial establishment. Okay?
Well, you say that you cannot answer. Is there a requirement in some way for someone to register as just a common citizen? Well, he couldn't answer, so I know. I'm asking. I'm asking a question.
The answer is no. Thank you, Dan.
Well,
Ms. Smithman, your time's up. Do you have does anyone else would like to speak on any other matter?
you want me to sit down first and then?
You're coming back up again? You're staying
I-
there? Okay, all right, go ahead. You have another 3 minutes.
No. You're gonna read the ordinance?
Excuse me?
You're gonna read for the 02306?
Yeah, I'm reading the ordinance, but there will not be a hearing. You can ask questions about the ordinance, which you just did about the fast food and the restaurant.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else? Seeing none, we'll close the first public portion. Memo from the chief, read by the township clerk.
Chief Harkins is requesting to hire the following individuals as Class 1 Special Law Enforcement Officers: M.D. Ahmed, Denaria Barrero, Stephanie Calderon, Dylan Coco, Michael DiCamillo, William Franz, Aaron Gansky, Derek Hagan, Matthew Lord, Zanat Noor, William Perna, and Michael Simone.
Thank you. Next is the ordinance. It's the first reading, an introduction. There'll be a hearing at the second reading. Ordinance 0-23-06, an ordinance amending section 202, definitions of Article 2 of the Township of Gloucester, County of Camden, the State of New Jersey, Land Development Ordinance. What this does is it amends our Land Development Ordinance, section 202, and defines what a restaurant and a restaurant fast food is. As I explained earlier to Ms. Smithman, a restaurant's a public eating facility where food and drink are prepared. People are sitting at booths, counters, and tables, and that food is served and consumed within the building. A restaurant for a fast food is one that has a public eating facility which has a carry-out window, a drive-through facility, or no indoor seating consumption. I will entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Hutchins. This is a second. Thank you, Mrs. Witter. On the question. Roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison,
Yes.
Ms. Grace. Mrs. Albright Troxel,
Yes.
Mrs. Winters. Yes. Mr. Mignon.
Yes.
Mr. Mercado.
Yes. Next is our consent agenda. Any council member would like to have any of these items removed, please speak up. Hearing none, I entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Make that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ms. Grace. On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison,
Yes.
Ms. Grace.
Yes.
Mrs. Albright Troxel,
Yes.
Mrs. Winters.
Yes.
Mr. Mignon.
Yes.
Mr. Mercado.
Yes, before we go to GTE Gov and public portion, I have some polling that we have to do. These are specific projects, proposals through our engineer. They came in after we would have had a workshop. So I'll identify them. And Mr. Cars, if you want to run through them as I go through. The first is a proposal to perform a geotechnical engineering investigation. This is for a proposed pole barn for the Aerial Little League organization. It is for a proposed enclosed batting cage area. Anything you want to add to that? No. Okay. Straw poll, please.
Mr. Hutchison,
Yes.
Ms. Grace.
Yes.
Mrs. Albright Troxel,
Yes.
Mrs. Winters.
Yes.
Mr. Mignon.
Yes.
Mr. Mercado.
Yes, and that was actually discussed at one of our workshops with the representatives of Aerial Baseball. Next is, let's see. Scope of services and cost proposal to provide survey and design services for the 2024 improvement program. This includes determine with Public Works, determine if these areas need drainage improvement. Highland Avenue from Evesham Road to Austin Avenue in the Glendora section. Stephen Drive from Evesham Road to Lillian Place in the Glendora section. Lakeside Avenue from Clifton Avenue to Pine, Blackwood. Pine Avenue from West Railroad Avenue intersection to Glen Avenue. Blackwood, and then Cherrywood Drive from College Drive to Winding Way.
These are design only.
Okay. Any questions from council? Straw poll, please.
Mr. Hutchison,
Yes.
Ms. Grace.
Yes.
Mrs. Albright Troxel,
Yes.
Mrs. Winters.
Yes.
Mr. Mignon.
Yes.
Mr. Mercado.
Yes. Next is for scope of services and cost proposal for engineering, construction, inspection services for the Cherrywood Development Road Improvement Program, Phase 11 improvements to Hybrid Place. What this does is full depth reconstruction of the entire roadway, grading modification, installation of new curb, sidewalk, and driveway aprons, and replace existing regulatory signage with retro reflective signs and breakaway posts to meet the current standards. The following is a 5-year approach, 5-phase approach that will be associated with the project. Mr. McGill, is there anything you want to add to that?
No, thank you. That's running pretty well.
Okay. For those who've attended our meetings over the years, this is a long standing project in the Cherrywood section. And this is phase 11. The estimated construction cost for this project is $350,000. Mr. Carson, anything you would add to that?
No, this is for design and construction.
Yes. Okay. Any questions?
When was the last time we did anything at this development?
Oh, it happens almost every year. Every year.
Okay, thank you.
No, Cherrywood going down Little Gloucester Road, behind the Kmart.
Yeah.
By the Kmart, or if you're on Blackwood Clementine by the Rite Aid, on College Drive. Yes. Straw poll, please.
Mr. Hutchison.
Yes.
Ms. Grace.
Yes.
Mrs. Albright Troxel,
Yes.
Mrs. Winters.
Yes.
Mr. Mignon.
Yes.
Mr. Mercado.
Yes. Next is a scope of services and cost proposal for the advertising, bidding, support, and construction inspection services for the 2023 road improvement program. Mr. Carson, anything you want to add to this?
This is inspection only for the 2023 road improvement program.
And this is from Kearsley Road, Price Avenue, from Station Avenue, Lake Avenue, and Randy Road from Albert Road to End. Mr. McGill, is there anything you want to add to that? Any questions from council? Straw poll, please.
Mr. Hutchison,
Yes.
Ms. Grace.
Yes.
Mrs. Albright Troxel,
Yes.
Mrs. Winters. Yes. Mr. Mignon,
Yes.
Mr. Mercado.
Yes. And lastly is scope of services and cost proposal for advertisement, bidding support, and construction services, inspection services for fiscal year 2023, the NJDOT local aid improvements to Peter Cheeseman Road. What this does is, this project include the reconstruction of Peter Cheeseman Road from Garwood to Morningstar Court, including curb, ADA ramps, inlet upgrades, and other work as appropriate. This type of work will be advertising, bidding, construction observation, and then contract administration. Anything you want to add to that, Mr. McGill?
Saying this is just for the construction inspection services.
Mr. Cardis, anything?
Again, it is a NJDOT project.
Any questions from council?
Question, will this interfere with the college students coming and going?
Mr. McGill?
It'll be the typical traffic control they have, but no, I don't anticipate anything.
Okay, thank you.
Straw poll, please.
Mr. Hutchison,
Yes.
Ms. Grace. Yes. Mrs. Albright Troxel.
Yes.
Mrs. Winters.
Yes.
Mr. Mignon,
Yes.
Mr. Mercado.
Yes. Okay. And we have our GTE Gov emails. Bear with me. We have more than a few tonight. First one is from Kyle D'Souza from 11 Yardley Court in Sicklerville. I live just off Berlin Crosskeys Road. Could we please have a bike lane or pedestrian lane marked on the road? I'm really scared to bike and walk outside because of the cars going at 55 miles per hour or more. This endangers people and makes our city and community less walkable and human friendly and worse for exercise. We'll reach out to Mr. Souza and tell him this is a county road. Anyone who's driven Berlin Crosskeys Road, that's probably a difficult request, I think. So, our next question is from Peter Heimball, Morningstar Court. I sent this question to Mr. Grandremo last month, but received no response. So I will try again by asking the question in this format. At the beginning of the 2022 year, Mr. Grandremo issued a report stating that $206,153 will be received by Gloucester Township in pilots and tax abatements for 2022. However, only $194,909.59 was received in 2022. What accounts for this shortfall? Mr. Carter,
Yeah, there was one business that did not make payment on their abatement billing. That became evident after the CFO completed the AFS, the annual financial statement unaudited, which was extended, I believe, until March 10th. I believe it's being turned over to Mr. Carlemir's office to work with that business to recoup that money, or to eliminate that abatement for that project.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm just gonna go chronologically.
How do we keep track of those missed payments by
We obtain, the finance office obtains a list from the assessor's office of each business and the amount of that abatement, not a pilot, but an abatement that they're entitled to based on new construction over a 5-year period. We then reconcile at year end what we billed and what we have received and determine if any one or many, multiple, have not paid their billing.
Okay. Next is from Dina Hendry, 89 Lamppost Lane. This was actually from the April 11th. Resubmitting this as I submitted it and it stated online, and I did not hear my questions as I was watching at home. Good afternoon, but when you read this, this will be evening. I was unable to attend in person last council meeting, so I was able to watch in the comforts of my own home. Thank you for having this as an option for the residents of Gloucester Township. As I was watching at home, I was disappointed to see the interaction between council and resident that asked a valid question. Because for my thought process is that if a resident missed the cutoff, it would then be read or addressed at the next council meeting. Maybe you can kindly give clarification how e-gov questions work. Because from what I saw at home, it was not addressed until the resident came up in the second public portion. Can you please go over the correct protocol with regards to the e-gov questions? Because in the last council meeting stated that the process was changed during the reorganization meeting. But what I can't seem to find, the change on our township's website, instead I find the following. January 3rd, 2023, reorganization meeting, the approved minutes. Sam Sweet of Eero stated e-govs are missing from the rule of order resolution. Mr. Mercado stated there will be minor adjustments to the e-gov process. I also looked at the next council approved meetings on January 9th, 2023. I did not see an update or on the January 23rd, 2023 approved minutes. There was no mention of the change. This also leads to my next question. How long does it take to get approved minutes on the website for review, as we are now in April and February is missing? Also, who's responsible for uploading them to our website? As of today, April 10th, 2023, the website still reads the following. Using this eGov access form to email your questions to our council members in order to have your question answered during the meeting. Please note your questions must be submitted prior to 7 p.m. the day of the council meeting to be promptly answered. All fields are required. In conclusion, either the decision to change the eGov process was never made, or if it was made, can you please let everyone know what date it was made? Thank you for your time. Ms. Henry, you also have another question, a follow-up, so I'm going to answer that along with your follow-ups. So, okay, let's get to this one. Okay. As I was from Dean Henry, as I was watching from home, the last council meeting, it was stated that there wasn't any eGov questions that came in from the meeting. I want to kindly make you aware that is false. As I said in an eGov question the day of council around 3 p.m. I did not receive a notification or copy of my question to my email, so I would not know if it went through. I also then resent the question during the council meeting and still did not receive any confirmation that it was submitted. Please confirm that it was received and what time. Thank you. If I recall, in the last meeting, you had asked for the website to be changed. I can tell you it still shows the incorrect information as I submit this question to you. As of 11:46 a.m. today, April 24th, 2023, it states on our township's website, uses eGov access form to email your questions to our council members in order to have your question answered during the meeting. Please note your questions must be submitted prior to 7 p.m. the day of the council meeting to be promptly answered. All fields are required. Who is responsible for maintaining the correct information on the website? So I answer this very quickly. So Regina Carrisso is our director of communications and works with Blue Wire. And yes, it has not been updated. So you're correct, Ms. Hendry. Do we pay an outside company to do this, or is this someone's responsibility? They work collectively together. Why does it take 2 weeks or a month for your request to happen? Why was there delay? I do not know, but I would try to find that out. Mr. Carson, I'm going to ask you to follow up with both of those entities internally and also Blue Wire. I'll get to that in a second, Nancy, because you have that in front of you, of why her eGov did not come in. For clarification, can you go over the correct protocol with regards to the eGov questions from start to finish so it's more understandable? For example, once the question gets submitted, who gets the notification? Nancy, I'm going to have you tag in on this. So when the eGov goes in, that goes into, I believe, the mayor's office. His chief of staff has access to it. Do you get a copy of that as well?
Yes.
Okay. It is forwarded to myself, and I don't get it immediately. It's forwarded to me. And then also, Mr. Cardis will receive that email as well. And that's forwarded from the mayor's office. Correct, Mr. Cardis? All right. Does it go to an email address? Go to mayor's office. If so, whose email? The mayor's office. Does the question then go to council or just the president? Is that disseminated? Do you just disseminate it to me, Nancy, or it's council?
Yes.
It just goes to me, but then council has a copy of that eGov question on the dais during the meeting. Does the mayor also get a copy? I would assume so, but I don't want to make that assumption, but his chief of staff does receive that. Once read at the meeting, does the e-gov question get filed with the answer? There are responses at times to it. I don't know if it's filed. Nancy, is any follow-up or is it filed as e-gov?
As long as it's answered, no, it goes in with the meeting.
Okay.
The actual printout goes in with the meeting and it's in the minutes.
If a question misses the cutoff, is it then read at the next meeting? We tried to read that, we missed a few. If a question is asked and an answer cannot be provided because of the needing to do more research, what is the appropriate amount of time that an answer would be given? I would say by the next council meeting. I understand that this could be a lot of questions, but I always like to understand the expectations so I could understand what is expected. Thank you for uploading February's minutes, but we are still not caught up. Who is responsible for uploading them to the website? Also, when approved, why does it take so long for the upload of the approved minutes for the public to see? After they're approved, Nancy, Matt, you forwarded to our communications department and then also Blue Wire.
Yes, but the minutes have to be approved at the month after they're done. So February is adopted and approved by council the following month. And then they're
March,
sent,
okay.
yes, and then they're sent to the website to be posted. The day after they're
Okay.
approved, actually, they're sent to the website.
Lastly, what is premium services? So there was a reporter about maybe 5 or 6 years ago that asked me in the corner here about things happening in town. And I talked about him. I said, well, I believe that we provide premium services here in our township. And people love that statement and they often mention it over and over again. I think I look around the room here, there are people that came to this township and stayed in this township because of some of the things that take place in this township. Myself, personally, every township has, well, almost every township has a police department, but I believe our police department goes above and beyond with our community policing, with the tools that we provide them, with a drop in our crime rate over the last 10 years. I look at our recreational activities, whether they're organized sports or passive recreation. I grew up in Swedesboro where we had no athletic organizations, no fields. We went to other towns to play and they threw us out of town and we went to play in other towns and we weren't residents of that town. Our public works department, when there are storms, and yes, there's storms that take place in other communities, but when we had that Derico on June 22nd, I believe, of 2015, and traffic lights were out in Washington Township, our traffic lights were operating because we have generators that we secured for our township and that were put in our capital budget. There are special events that take place throughout the town, throughout the course of the year. Tonight, we had the Gloucester Township Scholarship Committee. Yes, it is a nonprofit organization, but the Gloucester Township Day and all the money goes to scholarships, but how is that supported? That's supported by the township with our police, our public works, and our recreation department that work that event. If it's the Pumpkin Festival, which is a main stage for the arts program, that is supported by Public Works and the police department on that first Sunday in October. If it's a project with MLK Day, some of the things that take place and the township supports those things. The food and truck, a beer truck event that takes place also in downtown Blackwood, which is an event that raises money for a nonprofit organization, but again, is supported by the township. These are things that surrounding communities that people come to our town. People enjoy these events. Our capital improvements. We have a capital budget where we are constantly reinvesting into our community, whether it's our sidewalks, our streets, and our drainage projects. Today, when I was going home for lunch and I passed by the senior bus, which provides senior activities, and we have a senior recreation coordinator. Just going back to our recreational activities, when you think about, we have for years, 30 plus years, have been running a preschool program when other towns did not have a preschool program, and that preschool program fed into our school district here. So that's just some things that I highlight, Ms. Hendry, when I think about premium services, that I think that we go above and beyond. But when you take a look at it, and when our budget is introduced, and you'll see the portion that we pay, Tom, 32% maybe goes to 32 cents out of every dollar, 32, 33, what's it this, well, last year. Now, every dollar that we pay in taxes,
We're about 30.
31%. So 31 cents out of every dollar, this is what you're receiving. And I believe in my heart, and this is why I've been here for 24 years, that these things that make our town special. So when I say premium services, that's how I define it. Let's see. Okay, another email from Ms. Hendry. One more thing. The list of council meetings for 2023 is not listed. We are heading into May. Why hasn't this been updated? Ms. Hendry provided a calendar that was on the eGov page, and that was had old dates on there. So that is correct, and we'll get that updated. Now, just to address why those eGovs did not come through, the next day, Mr. Risto contacted our IT department and asked about what was happening. There were 2 emails that got lost. One from Ms. Coyne that was submitted on April 6th, and one from Dina Hendry that was submitted on April 10th. They're not sure what had happened at that particular time, but let's see. I do have those here. There was also another eGov that was brought in there by Nicholas C.M. Paglia from 114 Village Green Lane that asked, why is Verizon Fios not offered in much of Gloucester Township and Sicklerville? More competition is beneficial for the residents. Can we please invite Verizon to begin laying fiber optic lines in neighborhoods? That is a decision that Verizon would have to make. Many years ago, they started going into concentrating on their wireless business as opposed to fibers. But there is not an exclusivity contract with any cable provider in the town. So, Nancy, can you help me? Is there anything else to add on why those eGovs got lost? I'm trying to find that.
Right in front. Just because he updated the system.
So our system was updated from updates at Gloucester Township. The admin address for the website via the site host. When the questions were submitted, an admin notification copy is sent to updates@gloucestertownship.com. The last message was received on March 20th, but then they found 3 additional messages, the 2 that I mentioned from Ms. Coyne and Ms. Hendry, and then a Nicholas C.M. Paglia on April 9th. And they resolve why these messages are getting stuck somewhere. So I do apologize that those did not get in, and if they're not read, we will read them at the next meeting. But I'm also asking Mr. Cars, make sure that it is updated. That's something I asked for in January, to have it at 12 o'clock cutoff, please. And that went up today? All right, thank you very much.
And the meeting dates have been removed.
Okay. Now we'll open up the second public portion. This is for any item each speaker is entitled to 5 minutes. There will be 30 minutes for this public portion. Anyone wish to speak, please raise your hand. Mr. Polidoro.
Good evening, Council. Ray Polidor from the Historic Village of Ariel. I appreciate some shortened answers. I got a couple of them. I'd like to get them in the 5 minutes. Question would be, who oversees municipal elected officials? Let's say there is a case of abuse, misuse, misappropriations, or ethic violations. Who would you answer to besides the voters? What government agency would you answer to?
Attorney General? County? I'm sure you contacts out there in the state of New Jersey.
Get a little closer to the microphone, I'm sorry.
So there's ethics board, there's county, there's state, Department of Community Affairs.
Community affairs? Okay, that's basically ethics, not an abuse or misuse.
You want to report something?
Just curious, who do you answer to besides the voters?
All right.
So I believe I heard you state that in the portion of property tax, 31%, we're up to 31% is the township slice of that pie. What's the school's slice of that pie right now? Do you know offhand?
I couldn't.
It's greater than 31%,
Yeah,
correct?
probably 54.
Okay. So,
53.
all right. So in the township's generosity to hand out tax abatements to any and all people to come here, because basically you've labeled the township as a whole in need of rehabilitation, which makes us sound like we're not an up-and-coming or well-built town if we're in need of rehabilitation throughout the town. But abatements are handed out pretty well. There's 2 Wawas coming about. I'm sure they'll be asking for abatements now. Blackwood Clemington Road, I know, we've been trying to build that up. I understand that. The one in Ariel, however, they wanted that spot in the worst way and got it. I'm not seeing a reason for a tax abatement. And I'll remind you that when Royal Farms came here on Blackwood Clemington Road, before it's been built the way that it is, they didn't ask for it nor receive. Now, of course, you're going to say that's on them, but if we're giving them away on a prime piece of real estate like we are in Ariel, a $1 billion company, I don't think they need that. But people forget, you just described what the piece of the pie is, and that tax abatement, they're going to be making payments for 5 years. And our children's schools are not going to get anything for 5 years. Am I correct?
It all goes to the township.
Yeah, so for 5 years, where our schools could benefit, where we can be providing more things for the kids, we can provide better pay for the employees. Right now is an opportunity that has been left alone for some time, and the school employees probably would like to see more funding come in, so that when it comes time for them to see what they can get for their next contract negotiation, I think tax abatements would be detrimental to that opportunity for the schools to be able to help them out. So we are at the end of April. Ordinarily, you would be introducing a budget. Now, this budget's for 2023, and by the time you bring that in May and gets decided close to June, half the year's shot. And again, I know that you're going to keep going back to the state of New Jersey and the aid and waiting. I mean, New Jersey is not the finest shining beacon of light throughout the county. That we're working on a budget for a year that we're halfway through, and you're on a temporary budget to be able to spend. What is it going to take for our township to be able to have a budget, at least in the beginning of the year?
Well, we're waiting for a hearing with the local finance board regarding the MUA.
Okay,
That's gonna have an impact on our budget.
okay.
Mr.
So-
Morris, you wanna respond to that?
I do, because to go back to what you just, the question you asked, what is it gonna take to have a budget at the beginning of the year? It's impossible with the state of New Jersey. I would suggest you go up to Trenton and you talk to the legislators, because the AFS statement's not due until March 10th. You cannot do a budget without the AFS statement. So it's not set up to do a budget as of, and that's why statutorily they have a temporary budget.
All right, I need to get 1 or 2 more things in. Talking to state of New Jersey.
Well, I answered your question.
And I appreciate that. It's like talking to the wall. They set the example. They give you guidelines, which let you do everything.
Follow the law, follow the law.
Okay, so when trying to find out what an open and transparent government is, it has to do with what you put out. It also has to do with the questions that you answer. I also watched on the live stream last time, and Ms. Coyne's been asking questions for quite a long time. And we'll get back to you, send us an email in advance, but for quite a long time. Finally, she did call you out to ask for the answer to that question. And it had to do with something that she was very passionate about for the longest time. And all I saw at the very end, and I thought it was pretty smug and shameful. Your answer to her is upgraded. Thank you for your time. Do you mean to tell me in all this time, with what she's been asking, this government can't give her a true and honest answer and not shove her off with, it's an upgrade, thank you for your time? Listen, I know you're giving me a little bit of time over the clock and you could be flexible with it, but the lady's been asking a question for something that was unnecessary. And I think if you put your mind to it, you can come up with a much better, more reasonable, and more friendly answer. No matter how many times people come up to this microphone, you're still responsible to give them the best answer that you can. And there is a nice side to you. It just doesn't come out very often when the question is not asked that you liked. And it went for a long time. Go ahead, I know you're ready to say something.
Thank you. Have you been down the Black Horse Pike of this section? The villages of Gloucester Township?
Yes.
What was there before?
No.
No, there were some other things there.
Yeah, basically no.
No.
You mean, how many years ago we talking?
I'm talking in the last few years. What was there?
In that section, there's just not a lot, nothing stands out. That's the whole
No,
point.
but was it cleaned up? You're not familiar
It's never,
with it.
it's
Okay.
not,
You're
it's just
familiar
not,
with it.
it's
So-
not constant.
So 16 lots were identified. Okay, they put together a study and a plan, they amended it. In fact, today I had a 45-minute conversation with Ken Lechner, a former planner, regarding this. And we talked about what was there before and what is there now. And maybe folks don't like who purchased those lots and who cleaned those lots up, but is it an improvement over what was there before? Absolutely. But can we add to that? I agree. I think that we can add to that. But that's it. A study wasn't done to give somebody a tax abatement because, as you stated at the beginning, this town in the 80s was deemed a rehabilitation area. So a tax abatement, excuse me, a pilot or a tax abatement can be given out throughout the entire township.
But it's not the 80s anymore. It's not the 80s. We're an up and coming town. We've got prime real estate. We're getting more prime real estate. And again, she just asked about an unnecessary cost to the taxpayers. And Ken Lechner, who was the guy that always did show up, unlike the other two gentlemen that were a name only, one who is no longer employed by the township or the
Our
engineering.
planner's
firm.
here tonight.
Very nice to hear. And who is that?
She's sitting right there.
Good to meet you. Thank you for coming.
Well, Ray, your time is up. So
Thank you.
very much. We have more time, we'll bring you up. Ms. Smithman.
Hi, good evening, council. My name is Shaughnessy Smithman. I reside in the SDK Millbridge Gardens apartment complex on Millbrook Court. That's one word, Millbrook Court, apartment 341. Previously for this month, the first meeting, which is the second Monday, the 10th, the workshop was canceled.
Yes.
Was it rescheduled?
No.
Do they ever reschedule them so I would know whether or not to?
Workshops are only held on the first meeting of the month, which is the second Monday. They are not rescheduled.
Right, so if they're canceled,
We did some
don't-
housekeeping here today when I had the straw poll about some of these projects. They came in after that workshop. But they are usually, Nancy, Thursday, a decision's made if we have nothing on the agenda, or if there's a conflict. But it's posted on the website that is canceled.
Correct.
And then we have a sign out the front door.
I saw the sign when I arrived early for the meeting in case there was the workshop, but it was said that it was canceled. But then I had heard the word rescheduled. I didn't know if it applied to workshops. I never thought to investigate whether or not a workshop, when canceled, would be rescheduled. Thank you for answering that.
You're welcome.
And I also heard you speaking about the premium services that are offered throughout Gloucester Township. One, I did attend the Martin Luther King celebration. That was on the 16th of January, I believe. Previous Councilwoman Trotto, who was replaced by Ms. Albright Troxel. She was at one of the booths. I had signed up for the outdoor duty for the Center for Family Services, but I was told that not enough people attended. So I had to go back to the school and I was reassigned to, they were making like toys for pets. Like they had like t-shirts they were cutting up.
I heard you did real well there. You did a real good
I-
job on it.
It was just scrap material from old t-shirts apparently. And I shared some knowledge from Monica Indonesia. She resided in Merchantville and they also had a Merchantville day and she had decorated her shirt. She had cut it and twisted it to be, it was very fancy. Miss Grace was at that meeting, or at that Martin Luther King Day. Give my permission to address Council Person Grace. Do I have permission to speak to her?
Yes.
Ms. Grace, you were at that day, on Martin Luther King Day. You said that you, at the end of the meeting, neither one of us could find the door to leave, if you recall. Do you remember? You said you had to go
The building inside,
We-
inside the building.
from that all-purpose type room, we couldn't figure out how to leave.
Sure, yes.
Right, you said you had to go pick up your grandchild. That's very nice. May I ask how you knew you were a grandmother?
Grandmother?
That's correct. Who told you that you were a grandmother? I am not a grandmother. If I am, nobody told me. May I ask you how you were aware that you were a grandmother?
Yes. I don't get your question.
Somebody told you. I have a son. My son will be 30 years old this year. I have no grandchildren that I'm aware of. Are they required to tell you if someone is claiming to be your grandchild or child? Is there some requirement to tell that individual? I'm asking another question as just a simple citizen, because I'm unaware of these things. Previously being pregnant, I told the father, I told my mother and father and their parents. That doesn't seem to always be the situation. You had mentioned on that Martin Luther King Day that you were going to pick up your grandchild. Could you please answer how you were made aware? And is it required that somebody tell you if they have a child that is related to you in the form of a grandparent? I do recall grandparents' rights, even though I was never a grandparent.
Are you concerned that your son is not telling you that you have a grandchild? You're gonna try to.
I have absolutely no idea whether or not I am or not, but it does seem to be a situation that there can be I don't want to call it a claim. This is life. There's no claim to life.
I think if somebody has a child, it's within their decision, if they're going to tell someone else.
Well, no, actually, when it comes to grandparents, they actually have rights, but due to privacy reasons, you cannot really investigate anything more. I won't even overly stare at somebody's child to investigate, because I think that that's an invasion to that child's privacy. It's not the child's responsibility to try to protect themselves from one person to another. I'm not going to overly observe anyone else, and that is simply because they're in the public. I kind of feel it's a bit invasive. But Ms. Grace did mention that she was a grandmother, so I'm asking from the council for Gloucester Township, a council member who told me that she was a grandmother. How did she know?
Well, why don't we let Ms. Grace reflect upon that? Your time is up, and we'll see if there's anyone else who would like to speak, and you can come up if there's time remaining. Thank you, Ms. Henry. Please come up. Ms. Henry would like to speak.
So, are you saying thank you to me or to somebody else? My name is Shaughnessy Smith.
I know, but Ms. Henry raised her hand. So if you'd like to come back up again, if we have more time, I'll call you up again, okay?
Thank you, President Mercado.
Grab a seat. I imagine you're going to speak again. So, Ms. Henry? Good evening.
Good evening. If you see me swaying back and forth, I do have vertigo. I haven't been drinking, I do promise, as I don't drink and drive. No, I'm cool. No, I've been sipping. So the past couple meetings, I have not been able to attend due to work functions and all that great fun stuff and having children because they're fun. And noticing that, unfortunately, we don't have a full council, and noticing also that somebody had asked prior, and the answer I believe was most likely Ms. Stubbs would not be joining us until the end of the year. So being that I had time at home and listening to the question that Ray had asked you about, who do you answer to in a sense? I'm wondering if this applies to council as well. It is the New Jersey Revised Statutes, Title 40A, Municipalities and Counties, Section 40A, 16-13, when a office deemed vacant. Anybody familiar with that?
No.
Oh, okay.
Please continue.
So when an office is deemed vacant, the office of the mayor or a member of the governing body of a municipality shall be deemed vacant. A, upon it being so declared by virtue of a judicial determination. B, upon the death of the mayor or a member of the governing body. C, upon a determination of other members of the governing body that the mayor or a member of the governing body no longer resides within the corporate limits of a municipality or ward which he or she was elected. They say he, but it's he or she. D, upon the refusal of the mayor or member of the governing body to qualify or serve. E, upon a judicial determination of the mayor or member of the governing body shall become physically or mentally incapable of serving. F, upon the filing or written resignation of the municipal clerk by the court or the member of the governing body, except a resignation following the filing of a recall petition. G, whenever the mayor, when required by law, to attend meetings of the governing body or the member of the governing body fails to attend and participate in any meetings of the governing body for a period of 8 consecutive weeks without being excused from attendance by a majority of the members of the governing body at the conclusion of such period provided. However, that of the governing body may refuse to excuse only with the perspective to those failure to attend and participate which are not due to legitimate illness, or H, upon the determination that the office comes within the preview of RS 19-3-25. So with that being said, I would think that unfortunately the seat has been vacant because Ms. Stubbs has not been here. If we're following.
Okay, so I'll let Mr. Carlmayer think about what you just said, but I want to go back to your first statement when you said the next time we may possibly see Ms. Stubbs, or the statement I made at the last meeting, or what I was asked is that the latest that she would serve would be December 31st. She is not running again. So that was at that time I was certain about that. But with us being a Faulkner, a Faulkner government, I'm just thinking out loud.
Our form of government.
That's our form of government, is the Faulkner Act.
Your plan B.
And we're plan B. Ms. Henry had indicated 8 weeks of missing.
Consecutive.
So we don't meet weekly. There were times that, there's times that Ms. Stubbs had contacted me that she was ill and she could not make it. So I consider that excuse. There are times I did not say anything about her attendance at all because I did not receive any communication from her. Could I go back and take a look at how many times I was done? I could do that. But Mr. Carver, you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with 48-16-13 that was referred to. There's a lot of judicial process that takes place when there's an action brought for that. When someone is not here, there's a comment that a person is ill, or there are all reasons why. But if there's a fault of desire, I'm just not attending any longer, or no issue, then I think there's a judicial process, not just you're out. Both counsel, it has to be a judicial process. But if the individual has reasons, that judicial process as an elected official will not succeed. And I think that's what some of the comments that we talked about at prior meetings when the question came up about Mrs. Stubbs and why she's not here. I've looked at it because the questions come up obviously many times. There's not a judicial process that's been initiated. It can be initiated by public for a recall. There could be a lot of reasons that someone could initiate an action against a council person or mayor. More strongly against a mayor in that form of government when the mayor is required to attend. We're a different form of Faulkner Act type.
I understand from my short research is that yes, the mayor is within that Faulkner, But from my understanding, the council does not fall. I could be wrong. If you ask me about marketing and social media, I'm your girl for it, and I can tell you all the ins and outs about it. Local government and all this fun stuff, I can't. It's just, what I read. But I just wanted to let you guys know, in the event that you were not aware, there is something there so therefore you guys can be a full working board that you all deserve. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. I think we'll have a resolution very shortly on this. Anyone else would like to speak that's not spoken yet? Ms. Smithman.
Good evening, Council. My name is Shaughnessy Smithman. I live in the SDK Millbridge Gardens apartment complex on Millbrook Court, apartment 341. I came to this town for the second time. Originally, when I was born in 1977, I was brought to my grandmother's home, Harriet Smithman, on 34 Oak Ave, I think. It's on Oak Avenue. It's considered the hilltop section. And then at about 2 years old, we got a house in Williamstown. That was my parents' home, not my home. So I was brought back here after recovering from a crisis and rehabilitating from a psychiatric crisis. I worked several jobs. I worked in construction, was the last job that I had, the career. This was August of 1999 through March 2014 was the last day that I had worked. But in between, there was a little crisis where the middle sibling, I'm the youngest. I have two older siblings, they're both female. The middle sibling said that she required a durable power of attorney. I left it. I also gave the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, they also have a board, just like here. Board members, I gave them HIPAA rights so hopefully they could review my progress. I could see where they could be a little worrisome about having someone with a psychiatric diagnosis on a job site. It was difficult enough with different generations and not really understanding each other. I understood the anxiety. I gave them HIPAA rights just to review for their own board to help them properly place me, hopefully to return to work. I never heard back from them for anything that had to do with that. But in 2016, I don't know if I didn't think that this would be required. I didn't think that anybody would take advantage of a durable power of attorney in any which way. Can I give this to you to look at?
Sure.
This is, I do not have the form. I do have it at home, and I do have additional copies where I can provide it for the Gloucester Township Council. It's revoking the durable power of attorney for both my mother, Gail Tamora, and my middle sibling, Courtney Smithman Mezapel. I don't know if she ever changed her name.
So how are you looking for council and the town to help you with this?
Not looking to help you. I didn't know if
No, to help you. So why would you want to provide that to me? What can I do to help you with that?
If someone is claiming to be speaking on my behalf, they're not. I have not had access to the internet maybe since the year 2008. I can't even really tell you. The internet service came with my residential landline phone. Not wanting someone to attach to it, I opted to have the modem, but I don't have a device to use it. I've never had a smartphone. The only computer I've ever owned belonged to my son, Tyler. And I would use his, but it was always broken. He had to keep turning it off and turning it back on. I don't know how to use it. I've never had access. I've had an email address that previously came with Comcast. It came with the cable service, but when that got turned off, it took the email with it, I think. I really don't know. I was too busy working myself into nothing. Hence, psychiatric and physical health breakdown, which is why I'm here every 2 weeks speaking here. There's no longer the ability to work, although I disagree, but it is written everywhere that I could think to try to challenge it, I'm denied. But do you need would you like to see this?
No, I'm fine. I'm sure, I will.
If someone is claiming to be speaking on my
No, I know
behalf, they're
you're
not.
speaking for yourself. Okay, and if someone else is trying to claim to speak for you, I would just say I need to speak to Ms. Smith.
And you know who I am.
Yes.
Like, you know that my name is Shaughnessy. I mean, there could be another one. Hey, there absolutely could be another Shaughnessy
There's no other
Smithman.
Shaughnessy Smith, I believe.
There could be another Shaughnessy at the very least, and who knows, Smithman could be a very popular name
God
somewhere
broke the
else.
mold with you, okay?
I'm sorry?
God broke the mold with you. That's a good thing.
All right, one thing that I did feel that might be very helpful, in the almost 46 years, I'll be 46 years old this year, is the direct access to government, to a municipality, but for primary reasons, the local police and the local fire departments. It would be so helpful if you could begin placing and then possibly think about rehabilitating every signpost in the township to place on it the address, one for the local fire department and one for the local police department. You put a picture, a symbol to indicate fire and to indicate police, so that if you cannot read, if you're just looking at it, you'll know which one is which. If you put it in raised or recessed writing, it'll have texture and you can get the print onto either a postcard or an envelope. If you put it in Braille, the blind will know what police department and which fire department serves that spot of planet Earth. Put it at wheelchair height so it's accessible to children. I really feel that it would be, if it's there, it's not really relief. It would only be a relief if it was there and taken away. I think it would be very helpful if it was just a staple in the community, part of the foundation of the township. You have these premium services. I would find that to be really premium.
Thank you very much. We're gonna have to close the second portion. Polling of directors.
Mr. Parliament,
Nothing to report.
Mr. Cardis,
Nothing to report.
Chief Harkins,
Council President, I just want to take a moment to recognize Special Officer Jim Mondelli, who's sitting in the back. This will be his last working council meeting. He's resigning effective May 1st. Jim's been with us as a Class 2 Special Officer for the last 10 years. But prior to that, he also served as a police officer for 25 years, 7 up in the borough of Runnymede and 18 years here in Gloucester Township. He retired in 2010 from his full-time career. I had the pleasure of working patrol with Jim. He was one of our instructors. He was a traffic officer, fatal accident investigator, and he's been doing this part-time for 10 years. So I just wanted to take a moment to recognize him and thank him for his service here to Gloucester Township. 28 years for Gloucester Township, another 7 for the borough of Runnymede, 35 years total in law enforcement. So we wish him all the best. So.
Mr. McGill,
No, thank you.
Mr. Hutchison.
Hey, Jim, I would have worn shorts for you. Congratulations. That's all. Thank you for coming tonight, guys.
Ms. Grace,
Congratulations, and also congratulations to the scholarship recipients tonight. Ms. Smithman, wasn't really sure about your question tonight, but I do remember.
I received a scholarship.
Okay, I do remember during the Martin Luther King Day, we got lost in the building. If next year.
More signage.
More signage, yes, or some volunteers left behind to help guide folks out of the building would be helpful. I don't know if that's the answer to your question, but I remember walking with you and we were lost in the building, so we'll make sure there's volunteers there next year to guide those left behind out of the building. Okay, everyone have a good night.
Mrs. Albert Troxel.
I wanted to thank the scholarship committee for their hard work that they've done, especially Dick Hollingshead. Over the years, he's been doing that a very long time, and his full committee do an excellent job. And I'd like to congratulate the recipients of those scholarships. I hoped that it could be, that I wanted to pick one for somebody who was here, but it didn't happen. But we did get one out of the 40 that was here, so that was good. And Jim, congratulations on your second retirement. And I just got to know you a little being here, and I'm going to miss you. And thank you for your service.
Mrs. Winters, we congratulate the scholarship winners. It's always a nice thing to see that. And just to remind everyone, the GTHA will be hosting the national tournament. It starts on May 6th. It runs, I think, Saturday through to the following Sunday, like I guess it's 8 or 9 days. I don't know the total amount of teams this year yet. It hasn't been confirmed. Last year, I think there were 110 teams that participated. So it brings people in from Pittsburgh, from Massachusetts, from New York, down the shore and all different other areas to our area for this tournament. So it is a nice event for the league and for the township to experience all those people visiting our town and seeing all our different things. Congratulations, Jim. I'm always a little envious of people who are retiring. And have a great night. Mr. Mignon?
Officer Mondelli, congratulations on retirement. Enjoy it. Congratulations to the scholarship committee and the recipients. I did know one of the recipients in the audience, which is very nice. I was very happy to see her. My daughter played softball with her. And everybody have a great night, great week. Best.
Mr. Mercado?
I want to thank everyone for coming out this evening. Congratulations, Scholarship Committee. Also to the Gloucester Township Field of Dreams. They had their opening on April 15th. They have 52 players that are playing this year. And last Friday, they had a night game under the lights over in Valley Brook. Mr. Mignon, you were tasked to oversee that organization 6 years ago, and he is there every Saturday doing that. So thank you very much for doing that. I have an announcement to make. A letter was submitted to the clerk this evening by Andrea Stubbs. Nancy, is with sadness that I submit my resignation effective today. Before I go on, Ms. Stubbs told me to read this email in entirety, and I will. Nancy, is with sadness that I submit my resignation effective today. I regret that personal issues hindered my participation in a job I respected and enjoyed. I also regret being maligned by the falsehood of being the author or authorizing a letter regarding school board elections. I would never participate in any type of potentially polarizing activity. It's been an honor serving my community. I expect that my letter will be read this evening by you in its entirety. Thank you, Nancy. Mrs. Stubbs was a print. I first met Andrea back in 1999 or 2000 when she was the principal of Glendora Elementary School. Then went to Glen Landing as a principal there, and then moved to Blackwood as a vice principal, then became the principal at Blackwood and retired here roughly 3 or 4 years ago. I had the pleasure of interacting with her family many times over the years with her son Wellington in India. Andrea started participating in some township events during Black History Month when I asked her to be part of a committee to review our nominees, but I knew that she could do more. I saw that people gravitated towards her and the relationship that she had with the community when she was in any of the schools that she was in. In 2015, she ran for council with me, and also Mr. Mignon and Tracy Trottle. And in 2019, we ran it back again, and we won re-election in 2019. I have missed her being here. I was not appreciative of the comments that were made about her or how she was lampooned by people. People go through things through their lives, and we don't know what they're going through. And but I will miss her, and I have missed her here. And I wish her and her family, Trey and India, the best. Ms. Power, I'm asking you to contact the Democratic Municipal Chair tomorrow and make him aware that there is a vacancy. And I will start the clock, and we have 30 days to fill this vacancy on council. With that, I entertain the motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Second. All those in favor? Aye. Have a great evening, everyone. Hey.
Thank you, good luck, or good luck, thank you.